fact that 56% of homes that went under contract got accepted within 2 weeks of being on the market. Like, hear me clearly. Within 2 weeks, 56% of homes got accepted.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 23 of the Bad Talk Show. Today, we're going to be discussing real estate. Is the market going to crash? Is it not going to crash? We're going to go over a lot of details, so make sure you stick around to the whole video, all right? But why are we talking about real estate, bro? Tell them.
Because I put out a poll, and the people spoke, all right? This is a topic you really wanted to hear about because everybody wants a home. And so guess what? We're going to tell you if it's the right time to buy that home in today's episode.
Exactly. So before we get started, we're going to basically be giving, our prediction on what we think is going to happen. And then we're going to give you a bunch of stats, right? Actual facts that we've been researching. We've been talking to people. So let's just get into it, bro. What is your prediction for the market?
My prediction for the market? Please stop waiting on a crash. It is not going to happen. In my prediction, all right, whatever. Facts. There's nothing pointing to the fact that it'll happen. I could say that. There's no crash, so please stop waiting on pre-pandemic prices because they are never coming back. It doesn't look like it by any means, but I want you to give your side first.
Yeah, no, I think I'm on the same page. Like, I don't see pre-pandemic prices coming back, right? Like, I don't think that we're gonna see homes that were listed for $300,000 now they're listed for $500,000 go back to $300,000. I just don't see that. Do I see a crash? No. I think the media gets a lot of money from fear, people listening in. So tune out all that noise because I don't think a crash is there. It's a very, very heavy word. I think a cool down is there, though. I think the market will cool down. Supply chain is a huge thing. Interest rates are a huge thing. We're going to cover all that. But I see a cool down coming, not a crash.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I'm definitely in agreement. Like, things can still rise, just doesn't have to rise as fast,
Exactly.
That's all.
All right, so now that we gave that, let's just dive into some facts for you guys, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is interest rates because everyone's been talking about this. Now, yes, we did see the interest rates go up. Right now, the 30-year fixed mortgage is 5.73%. Yes. Now, for those thinking that's super high because you guys are our age and you guys are used to seeing 2%, 3%, yada, 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 cool. However, right now, if you look at the chart, 5% is actually pretty low compared to what we've seen in the past, right? It's very below average, I would say. And honestly, even if we do see some increases in, going from 5% to 7% because of the interest rate that the Fed might put out, we might actually go back to the average what other generations saw before us.
And in those generations, guess what? House prices still went up under those conditions. Like even in 2000, the interest rate was about 8%. Yo, listen, that's our interest rate right now is 5.73. Like the economy, the housing market has survived under those conditions numerous times throughout history. So, like I said, housing prices can still go up when interest rates go up. They're not always an inverse relationship. You have to consider all the factors at play. So please don't get it twisted on that. And then even just to follow up on that, talk about recessions.
This is why I say twins. I was just about to bring that up. Go ahead.
Now I want to speak on it. You know why? Because we've been speaking on it on the show, first of all, but we've also spoken on the fact on the show that recession is most likely going to come in this time period, right? We see a recession coming within a year or so, right? It's definitely on the way.
Honestly, I think it's here, basically, but continue.
Exactly. I'm just being very safe right now. We already had a quarter of negative GDP, but it's a different episode. So anyways, what I'm saying that for is, recessions does not mean house prices decrease. We've said this on the show before. In almost every recession in recent history, house prices still went up. That 08 crash, the Great Recession, was caused due to real estate. So there was different factors at play. It had to do with subprime lending, a lot of unfair lending practices going on, and now they have policies to mitigate that. That's not going on anymore. Those factors are not even at play anymore. And so outside of 08, you look at other recessions, house prices went up.
Right. And speaking of house prices going up, I'm going to just piggyback off of that. Well, let's just say you were someone who waited in 2021, right? You're like, I don't want to buy a home. You're like, I'm gonna buy a home now. The price is going to go down. Well, in 2021, house prices actually went up 16.9%, right? So that should tell you that if you waited, you kind of baited, right? Oh, that's a bar. Okay, cool. All right, that's a bar.
Right now.
Yeah, Newski, what's up, baby?
Dude, man. Come on, man. Nobody laughing. Come on, man. bro, because he's out for the count.
But that right there was a thing. In 2020, same thing happened, bro. Like prices definitely went up because you saw what happened with supply chain, right? So that's just for 2021. Now let's talk about the future, right? What they're predicting will happen. Yeah. Zillow was actually coming out and saying we're going to see hikes of 22% in house prices, right? And then it's going down to like 17%. Well, if you think about it, like a home that was $100,000 is going to go up to $122,000, but then it's going to come down to $117,000.
Still up.
It's still up. You still paid 17% more technically for the home that you could have just bought for $100,000, right? Yeah. So that's something y'all have to understand when it comes to is the price going to come down? That's just a key thing. Yeah,
and just to emphasize as well about buying right. I know we talked about this on the previous episode, but make sure that you are buying right if you are going to buy real estate. Like, so say you don't even listen to the rest of this video. You're like, oh, cool. They said it's not going to crash. Bet I'm going to go buy a house. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Before you do that, please buy right, as rates will always go up and down. That's natural in real estate. Rates will go up and down throughout history. You just have to make sure you're buying correctly. Make sure you know your numbers. And then let's speak on inventory right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into inventory. Right now, we have less than 2 months of inventory available. Less than 2 months. And then in some markets, you have less than 1 month of inventory available, meaning that there are barely any homes out there for people to buy. Mm-hmm. And that's for numerous reasons, which we're about to get into right now.
Yeah, I mean, before we get into that, you said supply and inventory is down, right? You're gonna see articles, and this is exactly what I mean by tune out the news, right? So you see articles like this where it's like supply is going up. If you just read the header, you're thinking supply is gonna go up, right? Everything's great. When you go into detail, you really think about it, right? And read the fine line. It literally says in April inventory was down, 12% year over year, right? It was lower year over year. Okay, now when you think about it, that doesn't mean supply chain is all of a sudden fixed. That doesn't mean materials are back on the market and all the homes that you want can be built. It just means it got better. That does not mean all of a sudden supply is there. Just like inflation, when inflation was 8.5%, bro, and the market saw the new rate come out to 8.3%, that does not mean we're in deflation. That just means that it went down from 8.5 to 8.3. It's still high, right? Yeah. Same thing with supply. Yes, I do not have, all this issue that I used to have in the past, but I still have a problem because I do not have the materials I need to build a home. So it's still an issue. Please ignore the noise.
Yeah. And then the number of active listings are still down 67% from pre-pandemic levels. Mm-hmm. So pre-pandemic, there was 67% more homes available for people to buy. Let that sink in, y'all. There's no homes. That's pointing me to what economic principle are we talking about right now?
Supply and demand, bro.
Supply and demand, bro. Think about it, people. What is supply and demand? If there is a low supply of something, that means there's a high demand for it. Therefore, if there's a high demand, the prices rise up. The best way to think about it is maybe Jordans, right? People like to look for sneakers. Yep. There's a low amount available, or Yeezys or whatever. There's a low amount available. Therefore, people inflate the prices. That's it. Same thing goes on in the real estate market. Same thing goes on in every market, really, but we're talking real estate right now. So we have record low shortages in homes available, pushing prices up.
Yeah, so honestly, like one thing that I think about right off the bat is when it comes to supply, we're speaking on a lot right now, right? Let's just think about why this is a problem, right? So we said very specifically, it's not going to go down to pre-pandemic highs, right? Like, think about that, what I just said. The price of a home is not going to be the same thing as it was pre-pandemic. Why? Because COVID exists now, right? COVID is having a huge impact on global, like just entire world, to be honest. Like China is the largest manufacturer. They're struggling with COVID, right? And they're one of the biggest manufacturers that we deal with. Russia and Ukraine, not really COVID, obviously. There's other things happening in the world, and they supply a lot of stuff too. So when you think about it, all that is occurring, and if they can't give us goods, or we as a country have to pay more to acquire those goods, why would home prices go down significantly? It just does not make sense.
Doesn't make sense. And talking about recessions, by the way, that's looming. If unemployment goes up, that means that people may be losing jobs. So even for people who build homes, there's gonna be less builders on the market to even build homes. In a situation where if supply chain doesn't get fixed, it's also more expensive to build homes. So this is all pointing to home prices rising up even more. Like, that's another reason why home prices will rise up, people.
Right. And we're not making this up. Like, just look at the history of homes, right? We brought this chart up multiple times, but the median price of a home in terms of sales goes up over a period of time. Recession or not, let's be honest. If you guys have done your homework, you guys should know how long a recession lasts. Does a recession last 5 years, bro?
No.
Right? Does it last 10 years, bro?
No.
But does the home price over time, does it go up?
Absolutely it does, yeah.
Exactly. So just because, even if we hit a recession, right? Let's just say we're down bad. You purchased a home. Over a period of time, most likely that home will go up in value. That's all I'm going to say. And
like we said, they still go up during a recession too, because that's already been proven throughout history and almost every recession we've had. And I want to point out the fact that 56% of homes that went under contract got accepted within 2 weeks of being on the market. Like, hear me clearly. Within 2 weeks, 56% of homes got accepted when they were put onto the market, and 42% of homes got accepted within 1 week of being put onto the market. So people are snatching these homes up. The demand is extremely heavy. That's a short amount of time, bro.
No, it is, and it makes sense. Like, trust me, right? You remember when I was trying to buy homes in Albany, right?
Yeah.
Bro, how quickly did Nate tell us to buy a home?
He was on it,
bro. We were in a group chat. I'm telling y'all, like, straight, if you have not gone through the process, I'm telling you, from someone who has gone through the process, if you do not make an offer within 2 weeks, boy, if you don't make an offer within 3 days, that home is gone.
That was over,
right? So yeah, like, just think about it,
and it's still going on.
Yes, and one of the biggest things, right? So basically, when I heard this, it made so much sense. We're in New York, right?
Yeah.
Home prices are very high. So let's just say we made a profit of $300,000 on a home. Okay. Now we go to another city in a different state, and people are like, "Yo, homes are so expensive here. There are $100,000 that people are paying $200,000. They're paying $100K above asking." Let's just break this down. If I'm in New York, I made a profit of $300,000, and I go to a state where a home is $100K, but I have to pay $200K to afford it, I will do that because I have the money to do that.
Facts.
And for me, as someone who's not in that state, it makes a lot of sense to do this because I'm investing my money. And to be honest, I'm getting a deal in my perspective.
Right.
And the amount of people that live in these amazing states that are so expensive and just go to other states to buy property above asking are doing this because of this exact reason. So just because someone's buying stuff above 100K asking does not mean they're silly. They have an idea what's happening.
Yep. And that's what's been going on in this current this current state of the market. It's been going on in the pandemic, and it's still going on today. So remember, even though rates are rising, people notice that. People pay attention to the news just like we do, Bag Talk. Like, so they say, oh, rates are rising. I got to hurry up and buy these homes. There's a low supply and rates are rising. Let me get it now. That's why home prices are still projected to go up for the whole rest of this year. You could check all sources. They're projected to go up, as we said.
Yep.
So please stop waiting to buy real estate, because even if we have that correction, which will come down the line, don't get us wrong, there will be a correction. They will never go back to pre-pandemic levels. It is something that we hear too often, and we're trying to kill that noise today. Because like we said, if a house is supposed to be 100 and it runs up to 300 and then it pulls back to 270,
bro,
guess what? Yeah, you still gotta pay 270. That's still a whole lot more than it's really actually worth, and it's never going back to that 100.
I'm so glad you said that, bro. Another thing I did want to say though, right before we wrap up, just think about it, right? Especially with the Black and Brown community, we always say this stuff. We're like, yo, like, you know, let's not time the market, bro. Like, you can't time the market. You can't do this. Okay, so if you say that all the time, why do you not listen to yourself? Like, you say you can't time the market, yet you're trying to time when to buy property.
For real.
Like, we know this, that you can't time the market. Yet, what we're going to do, we're going to try to wait. And then we bait because we don't buy. And then everyone else is like, yo, I bought, the property value goes up. So please, if you have the budget, please buy your property. And another thing you got to do is like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, y'all. Thank you for watching right now. And hit that little notification bell because we drop
2 videos a week.
And you do not want to miss them. But for real, thank you. We appreciate you for being here. Make sure to check out Monday's video. But until then, peace.
Peace.